Honourable Member for Ryan.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Budget Day 2015 was a great day for my electorate of Ryan. It was a great day for families, with the announcement of the new simpler childcare subsidy package that will mean families with household incomes between $65,000 and $170,000 will be around $30 a week better off when it comes to accessing childcare. It was a great day for older Australians, with the government confirming that we will not sign up to Labor's punitive tax on hard-earned superannuation income. But above all, it was a great day for the 13,000 registered small businesses in my electorate, and in particular those which have an annual turnover of less than $2 million per annum. Mr Deputy Speaker, these bills turn the Treasurer's budget night speech from words into deeds. They seek to reduce the company tax rate from 30% to 28.5% for companies with an aggregated turnover of less than $2 million from the income year commencing on or after 1 July 2015. These bills also ensure that the maximum amount of franking credits a small incorporated business will be able to distribute each year will not be reduced in accordance with the reduced tax rate. This means that small incorporated businesses will still be able to distribute franking credits to their shareholders at the same 30% rate as large companies can. The effect of these changes will be that from 1 July 2015, Australian small businesses will enjoy the lowest rates of company taxation seen in Australia since 1967, 48 years ago. This bill will create a two-tiered corporate tax system, and the coalition government makes no apologies for this. Our policy is clear and unambiguous, which is more than can be said for Labor. In recent weeks, they have demonstrated once again why they cannot be trusted when it comes to small business policy. Take this contribution from the member for Oxley and Shadow Minister assisting the Leader for Small Business. You would think that if anybody in the Labor Party, he would really be on the pulse with what small business want. And yet he is quoted in a media release from 6 May 2015 as saying, and I quote, "The Liberals' plans to put in place a two-tier tax system in next week's budget will only serve to smash business confidence even further." But barely 2 weeks later, Mr Deputy Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition in this budget reply speech directly contradicted the member for Oxley by committing the opposition to match the coalition's tiering of the company tax. Yet again, this shows that Labor has no consistency when it comes to small business policy, probably because they do not truly understand it. As this bill demonstrates, we are unashamedly a pro-small business party. As a party and as a government, we believe that small businesses are the key drivers of Australia's economy, underpinning growth and innovation and providing jobs for millions of Australians. And as the only party that truly understands small business, we know that small businesses face particular challenges with cash flow and with competition with larger businesses. Mr Deputy Speaker, times are tough for small business, and as a government we need to do all we can to incentivise small business to grow, to invest and to employ more Australians. Mr Deputy Speaker, this bill now gives me the further opportunity to discuss what I consider of the most broadly welcome measures introduced in this budget, or indeed any budget in recent memory. I'm talking about the announcement that small business will, from 7:30 p.m. on the 12th of May 2015, be able to immediately deduct from their tax business assets valued at up to $20,000. To say that this has been well received would be an understatement. Industry groups have been lining up in support. The Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Council of Small Business Organisations of Australia, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Queensland, New South Wales Business Chamber, Business South Australia, the Institute of Public Accountants, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry Western Australia, the Independent Contractors of Australia, the Australian Food and Grocery Council, the Australian Industry Group, the Business Council of Australia and the National Retailers Association. The list goes on and on and on, each more supportive than the last. The reason for this is simple. Members will know that I ran my own business for many years prior to entering this place. Madam Speaker, ask any small business person what is the biggest day-to-day pressure faced by their business, and chances are that the words cash flow will be on the tip of their tongue and placed high at the top of their list. Cash flow is a constant challenge. It is what keeps business owners up at night. Many small businesses lack the scale or the credit history to be able to access significant credit lines. And in a business where cash flow is tight, owners will be reluctant to invest. Investing in capital equipment to grow the business ties up cash, and until now the part that could be claimed back in depreciation took several years to flow. With this budget, small businesses will be able to claim it back immediately on each and every purchase up to $20,000. That means up to $5,700 back immediately per transaction. In my electorate of Ryan, I'm already hearing from businesses who are taking advantage of the changes in this budget to bring forward investment which will grow their business.
Mr Deputy Speaker, as I was saying, following the budget, the Treasurer and I visited one such business, Bricky Espresso and Gelati Bar in the suburb of Arnside. There we met Sav Amides, who told us that the depreciation changes in the budget will help him to expand his cafe and also buy a new oven so that he can serve more customers and grow his business. Mr Amides is one of thousands of such stories among the 13,000 registered small businesses in my electorate and the hundreds of thousands more across Australia. This policy is already making a real difference to small businesses. These days, it is a bit of a cliche to say that small business is the engine room of the economy, but nevertheless the numbers back it up. Small businesses produce over $330 billion of our nation's economic output every year. Better yet, they employ more than 4.5 million Australians. Businesses such as Brookfield Gardens, a family-owned garden retailer in my electorate that now boasts a restaurant edition. Robin and Scott McClay have a passion for gardening and have built a successful local business that demonstrates their passion and expertise. They are a great small business success story. Then there is the French Patisserie at the Cat and Fiddle shopping centre in Toowong. They have been a family-run business since 1984, making a delightful pastry dessert as well as quiches that are a weekend lunch staple for my family. And businesses such as Kenmore Gallery and Picture Framing, run by well-known Ryan local Liz Barker with more than 30 years of industry experience. As I speak to people across the electorate of Ryan, I'm hearing more and more stories of new families investing in existing small businesses, a positive reaction to a recharged economy where a more optimistic mood is encouraging people to take that step into their own business. Like Cave Coffee Espresso Bar at Capera. It has always served great coffee and has been revitalised under new ownership. I'm particularly looking forward to the planned redecoration, which will very much reflect the new owner's heritage. Fancy That Boutique, a business with a 30-year history in the Gap Village, is a fine example of an established small business that has had a new lease on life under the stewardship of a new owner. Paula Johnston, having previously had a corporate career, bought it 4 years ago and is carrying on the hard-working traditions of the original owners, the Watkins family, with her fabulous range of clothing. Blackwood Street in Mitchelton is experiencing a renewal with a number of businesses changing over as people retire or take up new challenges. The local post office franchise is one case in point. The Mitchelton News Agency is another, with Rod and Kathy Palmer retiring after 12 years as invaluable and energetic members of the local Chamber of Commerce and wider community. The Taverner Lounge, where Kim and Grant Lindbergh have taken over and are well and truly putting their own stamp on the business. All fine examples of local small businesses with new owners willing to give it a go. Mr Deputy Speaker, Ryan is an electorate full of small businesses, and when one small business succeeds, the flow-on effects boost the wider local economy. More than 90% of all businesses headquartered in Ryan have a turnover of below $2 million and will therefore be eligible for the tax cuts and franking changes outlined in this bill. Mr Deputy Speaker, if only half of the small businesses in Australia employed just one more person, we would no longer have any unemployment problems. That is why it is so important that the small business sector is incentivised to invest and grow, and why the coalition government stands side by side with small business to make it easier for them to do just that. The contrast between this government and Labor governments past could not be more stark. Labor saddled this country with 21,000 new and amended regulations, drowning the small business sector in red tape. Under Labor, 519,000 jobs were lost in small business. At one point, they had 5 different small business ministers in 15 months. Kim Beazley said it best when he admitted in 2000 that, and I quote, "We have never pretended to be a small business party. The Labor Party has never pretended that." Mr Deputy Speaker, compare Labor's actions to this bill, which demonstrates that the coalition government is serious about sorting out Labor's mess and is serious about getting the small business sector back on the path to growth and prosperity. Mr Deputy Speaker, this bill delivers a real and immediate benefit to small businesses across Australia. I urge all members, and particularly those opposite, to do the right thing in the interests of 780,000 eligible small business across Australia and support this bill. Mr Deputy Speaker, I commend the bill to the House.
I thank the